morning, people. Today I'm going to join a person called Smo, whose video I watched early this morning. If you've not gone and seen his YouTube channel, go see it. S-M-O, Smo. And he had a rant about respect. About basically kids not respecting elders or respecting other people's property or whatever it was. He was in a pub and a couple of kids were running around in between tables, fucking things up. And I had a hair in my mouth. That's better. And I couldn't agree with him more. But he, well, not blamed, but he kind of compared parenting styles of what he would do with his kid and things, and I agree with everything that pretty much he said. However, I kind of want to add to it. I'm going to go to the point of, is it the child's fault? You can't necessarily blame the kid. You can blame the parents, but that's just the way that society's going. They haven't raised their kids properly, they don't know the meaning of manners and respect, and they think everything should be handed to them on a plate. And it goes in with this all kind of chav philosophy that we've got going on at the minute, that it's a good thing to have 3 kids and sit on the dole, and it's cool to be given money and given your life basically, and it shouldn't have to work for anything at all because it's your God-given right to have this stuff. And it's that attitude more than anything that pisses me off. And I think it's that attitude that ends up rubbing off onto the kids. And that's why they are where they are. It is the parents' fault for not teaching them the basics of what it is to be a human being, to live in a society. Got so rife these days. The government is so PC about, you're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to say that, you have to treat everyone with respect, and it's somebody's human rights that, you know, I don't know, it's taken us 5 years to get Abu Hamza deported or whatever it was. I mean, what gives him the right to stay in this country and preach terrorism and God knows what else it is? Why aren't we allowed to just throw these people back? You know, I don't know whether that's an extremist view or not, but we've got all these council estates and people sitting there picking up job seekers allowance, and I'm rambling now, I know, but it irritates me. Well, I think it's probably gone too far. I think there are too many people out there now like this, and it's breeding, for want of a better word. These people need some discipline, I suppose. And I don't quite understand how we've got into this position, and maybe it's not as bad as what I think it is. But I think we should be doing something about it now. And I don't think that it can be just down to parents, because parents are getting younger and younger, and you know, more accidents are happening, etc., etc. How can they be expected at the age of 12 to 16 or whatever it is to raise a child properly? Because they're children themselves. But then you get parents that are 40-year-old that have let their kids run around and do what the hell they like. How do we teach these people to teach their kids, I suppose? How do we get to the root of the problem? And moaning about it now and all the rest of it is that point of the government should be doing something about it. I don't think we can just start blaming people and say you should be doing this, that and the other. Well, we can, but if we want something done about it and we don't want to end up into some, I don't know, 50 years down the line of a Britain full of chavs, because that's where it'll be, overrun by scum. people develop into proper social human beings that have a purpose and I suppose, contribute to a Britain. I guess there are also sort of extreme ways that we can do it, but I think the government needs to start doing something, whether that's some sort of educational program or ploughing more money in. I think a lot of it comes down to jobs, to be honest. Having a reason. I think if I'd won the lottery tomorrow, I wouldn't be able, I don't say 50 million quid, you retire for life. There's no way that I'd just be able to sit around doing nothing. I'd go crazy. Or I think some people would, and those people probably end up blowing 50 million and back on the dole in the first place. And it's like job seekers allowance or incapacity benefit, maybe not so much. I mean, there are genuinely people out there that can't work for a variety of reasons. Fair enough. We should help those people. And I believe the government have made it much tougher to claim this stuff anyway. But job seekers allowance and the dole, for want of a better word. Why can't we pay a salary of somebody in the council to look after I don't know, a group of 5 or 10 of these people one day a week to go litter picking? Because the chances are is these people putting it there in the first place. Again, maybe stereotypical. I don't really care at the minute. I'm out of a rant. I really don't understand why we have to give people money. There has to be a way that we can say, actually, yes, you can't find a job working in a pub as a pot washer. Where most of these people, in fact, refuse to work because it's not worth their time. They get more money on the dole. Well, that's my point. If they had to work for their dole, then it wouldn't be so easy. If for human rights purposes we're not allowed to cut people's dole, then let's make them work for it. I would happily pay a little bit more tax to give an army of 10 people per council to take groups of 10 people out litter picking or clearing up graffiti or painting a children's playground or cutting grass or whatever it is. I mean, surely there isn't that much health and safety that it will stop people picking up a paintbrush. Give them a pair of gloves to pick up rubbish and a stick. It's so frustrating. But anyway, I think that's going to be my ad to Schmo's video. Did get me thinking this morning, but I'm quite late for work, so I shall love you and leave you. The reason I ride a bike to work. The office queue. It's always stupidly busy. Well, Hamster's left work and calmed down a little bit from this morning. But I did remember that I missed a few things out. I think other things that don't help our situation as us glamorizing people and so-called celebrities from programs like Towie. Or I'm sure there's others. I can't think of them. Oh, the Valleys is another one that annoyed me. Obviously being from South Wales area. And it's just full of absolute idiots. And And young kids look up to these people. It's ridiculous. All they see is some scabby woman giving herself away really easily, or acting like a drunken lard arse. It just sends out the wrong messages. So there's sort of thing number one I'd like to raise, is we should stop doing this type of stuff. Make your mind up. But I reckon, as a vlogging community, we could probably come up with some better ideas than what the Muppets at Westminster can do. So if you've got any, just pull them in one place, or put them on a bit of paper and send them to Cameron. But I mean, in all seriousness, the idea that I was talking about this morning, of just hiring someone to take 5 people on the dole out, you know, rotated over 2-week patterns or something like that, but you employ them full time, Monday to Friday, you take 5 people out a day, and they clean the local park, paint fences, or pick up litter, or whatever it might be. I mean, there can't be any serious health and safety considerations behind that. And I would quite happily pay a little bit more so that these people don't have an easy access to basically what is our money. Yeah, you're gonna be a dick, aren't you? I'm just gonna chug in behind you. So yeah, I see nothing wrong with that idea. I mean, you got more extreme ideas then. What I think is missing from kids and parents and all the rest of it these days is discipline, basically. Best friend works as a school teacher, and he's worked in, well, my old school, and at the minute it's got an absolutely horrific reputation, and rightly so. Some of the stories that he tells me are absolutely insane. But these kids have no respect and no discipline. So ultimately, how can we teach that? One way? National service? Will that work? It's not something I'd particularly like to do when I was 18 to 20 or whatever they want to put it as, but it might work. Is that something to consider before it's too late? The other one? General drowning of people? Bring back the death penalty? All the mollycoddling, I should say, of people in health and safety. If you can't do this, you can't do that, just in case you hurt yourselves. I tell you what, let them hurt themselves. It's called Darwinism. Selection of the fittest. Oh, look at his exhaust hanging off there. Woo! It'd be quite difficult, but again, human rights and all that type of thing will probably scupper this one. But is there some sort of limit to how many children you can have? These people who aren't working, they can barely support themselves, let alone their 6 children. Should they be allowed 6 children? Is there a point where they become circumcised or something? I don't know. That's probably not an easy one to implement, but China has the extra tax and things like that, but ultimately we're too soft on people. We give them money purely so they can look after their kids, so they have more kids and then they have more money. It's a difficult one, because you genuinely have people that live on the breadline and live off the dole, and I feel sorry for those people. But then there are some people who get way more money than what they really should do. It needs fairer distribution or something. Look at those machines. Distracted now, but I love that Alpha. I think my final signing off point is, I think Smo said that, you know, people like Pete Doherty. Couldn't agree more. The man is an absolute twat. But as an interesting side, I know one of my friends took his kids to see a reunion Libertines concert, and he said they were absolutely god-awful. Can't sing, can't act, can't dance. As a live band, they were useless. So there we go. We'll end my rant, having calmed down for 8 hours, by another Hamster top tip. You want to go see the Libertines, or you think you might like them, and etc, etc. Don't. They're crap. And on that note, I am going to concentrate on getting home. You might not see it, but it's getting slightly dusk, and there's a lot of traffic around at this time of day. So I shall say diolch yn fawr for watching my video. Stick your comments, likes and subscribes and etc etc and all that kind of jazz, and I'll speak to you all soon. I'm gonna go to Tesco to get me some Sam. I'm gonna really go to Tesco just because I can. Right, what's cheap shit? £2.39 bonus.